In the quiet town of Bo, there lived a girl named Mariama Kalon. Everyone in the town knew her, not just because she was very beautiful, but because she was kind. Mariama had smooth dark skin, big bright eyes, and a curvy shape that made even the old women whisper, "That girl is blessed." She was only 17, but she walked with the grace of a queen. Mariama lived with her grandmother, Mamie Safi, in a small house made of mud bricks and a tin roof. Her parents had died when she was a baby, and her grandma raised her with love and plenty of cassava leaves. One day, something strange happened. Mariama was walking back from the market after selling groundnuts when she saw a woman dressed all in black standing by the roadside. The woman didn't blink. She didn't move. She just stared at Mariama. "Good afternoon," Mariama said politely. The woman didn't answer. Instead, she whispered something. Mariama couldn't hear it well, but it sounded like, "You don't belong here anymore." Chills ran down Mariama's spine. That night, Mariama had a dream. She was lying in a coffin, but she was awake inside it. She could hear people crying and throwing sand on the box. She screamed and banged on the lid, but no one could hear her. She woke up sweating. "Mamie Safi," she cried, running to her grandma's room. "What's wrong, child?" her grandma asked, holding her close. Mariama told her about the dream. Mamie Safi's face went pale. "It is not just a dream," she whispered. "It is a warning." The next day, things got even stranger. Wherever Mariama went, dogs barked at her. The pastor at church looked at her and frowned. Even her best friend, Zainab, said she felt cold just standing next to her. And then, on the third night, Mariama disappeared. They searched all over Bo, but she was nowhere to be found. Some people said she had run away. Others whispered that the spirits had taken her. But Mamie Safi knew something was very wrong. 3 days later, a small boy who had gone into the bush to fetch firewood came running back into town, screaming, "I saw a hand! A girl's hand sticking out of the ground!" The boy who found the hand was called Tamba. He was only 10 years old, but his voice shook the whole village. People followed him to the bush, holding cutlasses, torches, and lanterns. When they reached the spot, everyone froze. There it was, a hand sticking out from the red soil. The fingers were still moving slowly, like they were trying to grab something. Mamie Safi pushed through the crowd. When she saw the hand, her knees got weak. "That's Mariama's hand!" she cried. "My pikin is under there! Dig!" someone shouted. "She's still alive!" Men dropped to their knees and started digging with their hands. They dug fast, throwing the dirt everywhere. After a few minutes, they reached a wooden box, a coffin, halfway broken. Inside it was Mariama. Her eyes were open wide, and tears were running down her face. Her lips trembled, but no sound came out. Her dress was torn. She was shaking all over, but she was alive. They pulled her out. Mamie Safi wrapped her arms around her and held her tight, crying and praying. The villagers looked on in shock. Nobody could understand how she got buried, or who put her there. When they asked Mariama what happened, she didn't speak. She just kept whispering, "I heard them laughing. I saw the woman in black. She was dancing around my grave." The pastor came. He sprinkled holy water on Mariama and told everyone to go home and pray. "This is not human," he said. "This is something darker." Mamie Safi sat beside her and asked softly, "Who buried you, Mariama?" Mariama looked up slowly, her voice hoarse. "They told me. I was chosen. I was chosen to join them." In the Midnight Village, Mamie Safi's heart dropped. She had heard that name before. Midnight Village. A place that didn't exist on any map. A place where the dead walked and the living were taken. And that night, as the wind howled through the palm trees, a sound came from outside their window. A soft knocking, and a voice that said, "Mariama, you came back, but you were supposed to stay." Mamie Safi grabbed her Bible and whispered a prayer, her hands shaking. Mariama sat still, staring at the door now. Her lips moved without sound. Then the voice came again, closer this time. "You were chosen, Mariama. You don't run from us." Suddenly, the oil lamp in the room flickered and went out. Darkness filled the house like smoke. Then, silence. Mamie Safi reached for Mariama, but her hand touched nothing. "Mariama?" she called, standing up. "Mariama!" The girl was gone. The front door was wide open, swinging in the wind. Outside, the whole town was silent. Not even the dogs barked. Mamie Safi ran into the road, screaming her granddaughter's name. But the only thing she saw was a trail of footprints in the dust, leading back into the bush. She followed them until they vanished near the same spot Mariama had been buried. Then she saw it. A small paper pinned to a tree with a bone. She pulled it down with trembling hands. It read, "Those who leave Midnight Village must return before the moon dies, or we come take them ourselves." The next morning, people searched again. They dug, they prayed, they cried, but Mariama was never found again. Some nights, when the moon is full and the wind is cold, children in Bo say they hear a girl crying in the distance. Some even say if you go near the place where Mariama was buried, you'll see her standing under the tree, barefoot, with red earth on her dress, whispering, "Don't answer when they call your name." And the woman in black? She's still seen sometimes, watching, waiting for the next chosen one.